Y'all, this episode starts pure shenanigans. Like, I have zero control of these people, these guests, and my cohorts. So enjoy a laugh in the beginning, but stay till the end because we do some really good deep dives into topics like Whatnot for a couple of people who were big time sellers on Whatnot who share some advice. So yeah, here we go. This is our episode. I hope y'all enjoy.
Hey, Johnny, how's it going? We're all ready to start this episode.
I mean, leave it to our stewards to be late.
I know.
Right?
I know. I got branded with the steward last time. I was not going to be late this time. No way. No
Can
way.
I just say at least Stuart is going to show up because Wes, what the heck? He says he's busy, but I just don't think he wants to be in an episode that he's not editing. I think that's the truth.
I think it was too weird for him to not be in control.
Right.
And so to not be in control, he had to step away.
It's understandable. It's understandable.
So
apparently he has work to do.
Right.
We don't work after 5. Come on.
Right. Let's be real. So I was literally in your neighborhood for the last week.
What?
I just got home a couple days ago. I didn't realize how close you lived to Molly. You're literally like 2 turns away. You're so close.
Oh yeah, no, we're like, what was that, like Sarah Palin back in the day said she could see Russia from her house or whatever? I can see Molly from my house.
Right? Yes. But we were so crazy busy. She took me to the Greensboro bins on Monday, and you guys were there on like Tuesday?
We were there Tuesday.
Yeah. What the heck?
How did you know that he was there on Tuesday?
Because he released a video very quickly.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so I was on vacation last week.
Yeah, you were in Florida, I believe.
Yeah, so we went to Florida, got back Monday, and then me and my buddy went to Chicago the next weekend.
Oh,
so,
jeez.
So Frizz and I was like, I got to get all my thrifting in 2 days. That's all I got. So, yeah, we had gone to the bins that Tuesday, and we have found a ton of stuff. How did you like my bins? I call it my bins.
I love it. I liked it. It was good. Everybody was super friendly. We found a ton of stuff too. Got a lot of good shoes and stuff.
Awesome. Yeah.
And we went to the Charlotte one on Friday, and it actually sucked. Like it was bigger and cleaner, but there was nothing there.
No.
Yeah. So
I don't know about nothing because I
was
heard
nothing.
that you guys filled a bag or 2. No.
No, I only got maybe like 4 or 5 things that day, and Molly got like half a bag. Like she got some shoes and stuff. We were literally standing in line to leave, and they rolled out a shoe bin, and so she grabbed a bunch of stuff out of that. But otherwise, no.
Yeah, Charlotte's not where it's at.
No. However, we did go, and I cannot wait to put this video. I don't know if she did or not, but we both have footage, and I learned how to edit this week, so I'm pumped. But we went to a church rummage sale. I don't remember the name of the church. I have the map somewhere. They literally had a map. You line up outside. They only do it every couple years, that one, and I want to be back for the next one. Like That's was amazing. Yeah, every room in their church was a different like department. They had the Christmas room and a handbag room, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Was that near Charlotte?
Yeah, it was right in Charlotte.
Right in Charlotte, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about like the big cities, because we have Charlotte and then Raleigh, and where we live, we're like the same distance either way. So you can get some of that like city thrift. Because I don't think a lot of people realize like Raleigh and Charlotte are like, I don't know, the 12th and 15th like largest metropolitan area in the country.
Oh,
so like people sleep on it a little bit, but they're actually really big. So you can definitely find some treasures out there. But the Goodwills of Raleigh and Charlotte are terrible.
Yeah. It was great.
Oh, look who showed up.
Oh, come on. I've got a couple of minutes.
No,
I was looking at my door waiting for Johnny to show up. I finally gave up and came upstairs.
Molly, you have been regulated to the Finders Flippers podcast. I've been called up. You have been regulated down. So clear your schedule Wednesday nights. You have a new show now.
It happens often.
The late season trade has
Look,
happened.
I have become a big fan of watching your videos, so I'm just going to go hang out with your wife, and you can hang out with these girls.
What?
So I haven't watched the latest video, but I can't wait because the thumbnail is to die for. With Stuart smoking the pipe. Oh my god, I can't eat
Stuart
it.
was smoking a pipe? What are we doing? Stuart, get on camera.
Are
What
you
we
Finders
doing?
Flippers? Oh, I'm talking about. I'm on Frizzy's Fine.
No, I know, but the Finders Flippers one is. I love that thumbnail so much.
So Johnny, did Samantha tell you that we were at the bins the day before?
I heard.
Yeah.
Rude.
You kind of missed it. We already did all that.
We already did like a whole episode. Oh, look. Here's Stuart.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
All right.
Okay, well, that'll wrap up today's episode. You guys have a great time. Thanks for joining us.
Guys, thanks for having me. I had a great time.
Yeah, it was great.
Stuart, they're trying to kick us out, man.
I've been in the lobby for 5 minutes and they wouldn't let me in.
Oh,
All right, you didn't have your
That's
camera
bad.
on. We were waiting.
I told you they were setting us up. They're setting
That's
us
what
up.
they all
Stuart.
say.
Well, we already decided that
Oh.
Wes didn't like not being in control of the editing, so that's why he's not here.
That very well.
Mhm.
could be,
Johnny,
right?
I don't know. Johnny and I didn't even tell him about this.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, now that Molly's here, everybody, welcome to episode 192 of Consignment
Wait a minute.
Chat.
You're doing you're taking my intro and everything? What the
You
heck?
know she's just gonna edit that out, Samantha.
Hey y'all, welcome to episode 192 of Consignment Chat. This is Molly, me, and Stuart down here, and we're here tonight. It's a spotlight, y'all.
Yes.
All right, shenanigans, let's do this. What's happening? Oh, y'all are quiet now?
Oh, I didn't see that Stuart had left a comment in the chat earlier. not
I will
connecting it.
say it's very odd, at least for me, Stuart. I don't know if you can attest to this, but like being on someone else's podcast, like I feel like we have to be proper, and I don't know how to be proper, so I just go quiet.
You clearly have not watched our episodes, Johnny, so I'm a little
I do
offended.
this. I put my hands under my arm.
And then you go,
I hung out with these 3 ladies last week, Johnny. I know you don't have to be proper, so.
there's nothing proper
Yeah.
here.
Stuart got to
I
live
will
with
tell
us
you
for a
that,
couple
like,
days.
all of you guys have been to Greensboro, but no one's ever seen me in person, and I don't know whether or not to take that person.
So, Stuart told
And I
us
know, Molly, I know we live a ways away, so it's hard for us to connect.
as
the
Samantha
red light.
says, it's just 2 left turns. Or no, a right and a left.
He's right. I was
You go right and you go
first
left.
because she's like, he lives by Lowe's, and I'm like, you don't even have a hardware store. What are you talking? I didn't realize that was your grocery store.
Yeah, it's
It is-
very confusing.
We like to keep it confusing here in the borough of Green.
We do. I'll just be like, I'm going to run to Lowe's real quick, and like, am I going to come back with bread or like screws and nails?
Right?
Like,
It's a
you
matter
never
of
know.
you. Yeah, that happens in our house all the time. Nick went to Lowe's the other day. I thought it was sourdough bread he was coming home with, and it was a bunch of tubs for inventory. I was like,
Tubs.
She said tubs.
tubs.
You
What
know,
are you acting
you know-
all proper now?
you know how like down south they like Texas, like it's Coke, right? And then it's what kind of Coke? Now
Right.
that we live in Greensboro and have a Lowe's grocery store and a Lowe's like hardware store or whatever, I just say Home Depot, and it's which one, Lowe's or Home Depot, because it's just too confusing.
There you
Gotcha.
go.
All right.
There you go.
Well,
I live in the middle of nowhere, and I don't have any of those. So there's that. We just have Walmart. We just go to Walmart for everything. So since I was in the South, I also joined a little bit of a cult down there, and I am now a Duke's mayonnaise lover.
Oh, interesting.
I had
brought
to
the
shop.
dark side.
Yep, I had to stop at Lowe's on the way home and make sure that I brought home plenty because they don't sell it up here.
And y'all, when I tell you, I wish I would have thought about this and put it in the thing so I could share this picture. When she sent the text of her at the grocery store, it was like a couple of vats of mayonnaise. But she even had these flavored squeeze bottles of Duke stuff I've never even tasted before. I'm like, what is happening?
They had like all these Carolina Gold. I love me some Carolina Gold sauce, and they had all these different kinds. And
They're meant to
yeah,
be. All right, so y'all, the spotlight really is on two guys down here because the third didn't show up. Wes didn't show up, but I'm gonna start talking a little bit more seriously for a minute.
Oh, okay.
There you go, straighten up. I wanted to ask when we were on your show, but I was trying to not take over.
Oh.
I wanted to ask how Finders Flippers came about. Like how did you guys meet? So we've had Stuart on the show before as Franklin Hill Ventures. We've had his lovely wife Amy. How did this all come about? How did you guys meet? How did Wes jump into this? I mean, you can say anything you want to about Wes tonight because he's not here to defend himself. So let's do this.
Well, we felt sorry for Wes because he was really struggling by himself. So, I don't even remember exactly how me, Wes, and Johnny decided to start the podcast. The way I met Wes, though, and we grew up literally several miles from each other here in Knoxville, and this would be where Johnny would usually say in this Knoxville Minute's brought to you by.
Yes, visit Knoxville.com.
We have a joke on our show. Wes and I start waxing poetic about growing up in Knoxville, and Johnny's just back there, not able to participate. So, but no, I saw Wes on, I can't remember which podcast it was. It might have been Nashville Flippers, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But anyway, the name sounded familiar, and then, Wes Sperling, and then I actually reached out to him and said, "Hey, are you the same guy who went to go high school and played basketball?" And he said, "Yeah." And then he ended up having me on his Slim Flippers, whatever what's this? Yeah, Slim Flippers channel.
Yeah.
Had me on there and interviewed me, and then I don't know if that's how he came to know you as well, Johnny. But then we just
started. Did you do the whole female all out and out stalk him on Facebook first? Did you go through social medias to figure out who he was?
Hey, that's how I got on here. So if we could just calm down a little bit, please.
I actually had Amy do all that for me because she's a lot better at that than I am. So.
Yeah, well,
that's true.
Power of the female. Anyway,
he came back clean, so then I reached out to him.
So, Johnny, how do you fit into this?
Yeah, so actually, Wes slid into my DMs, is what happened. So Wes had messaged Frizzy and I and said, "Hey, I've seen some of your guys' shorts and TikToks before, and was wondering if you'd like to be on my podcast and or interview or whatever he called it." And we were like, "Sure." I had no idea who he was. Just kind of came in random, and so Frizzy and I did a show with them, and it was fun. It was cool. We connected, and then it was a couple months later. I don't know if he ran out of people that would say yes to him or what happened, but he asked if we wanted to be back on, and we were like, "Sure, why not? We're just watching TV anyways." And so we did a second one with them, and then he was like, he clearly saw that I was the talent of Frizzy and I out of the two of us, and so he was like, "Johnny, you and I should do a podcast together." And I was like, "Okay, I'll do it. Why not?" And then, so I just remember the day we were going to do it, he's like, "Hey, yeah, man, I got my buddy Stuart. He's going to join us too." And I was like, "Oh, okay, sure." And then, and that's why it was Finders Flippers, because we were Frizzy's Finds and he was Slim Flippers. So we were Find and Flippers.
Okay.
I feel
Leonard Skinner style.
Yeah, that was all West.
I'm glad we got rid of that. We can spell it correctly now.
So when I'm hearing Johnny, somehow I wasn't told about this. Should it be Franklin Finder Flippers? Or,
Or
Whereas,
I was thinking like Finders Flippers Ventures or
Finders Flippers
yeah.
Hill. Finders Flippers Hill could get a lot of curious people on that. Like, Finders Flippers Hill.
But yeah, so that's where it all came from. And actually, Stuart and I met. Like, you're live, and we're like, oh, okay, hi.
I remember when Stuart told us he was going to be on it, like as a guest or whatever, and then we're like, oh, this is going to become a thing, and he's like, no, it's not, and we were like, it's going to become a thing, and then a couple weeks later, he's like, yeah, we did another one, and we're like, oh, it's becoming a thing, and he's like, no, he was in denial for like the first 20 episodes.
I honestly think he had a hard time telling us because I think he thought he was cheating on us by going on somebody else's podcast YouTube channel because he had been on ours a few times. So I think he felt like.
But then once you chose me instead of Stuart, then
right, because for Libby and I, it was a toss-up. Do we want to make Samantha our third or Stuart our third because they've both been on our show multiple times and they both were, yeah, but I like this. We got the 3 ladies of Consignment Chats, and we got the 3 gentlemen of Finders Flippers. Gentlemen? Guys, dude.
Loosely. Very loosely.
And then, in all seriousness, Wes does hate he couldn't be here. He was repping basketball tonight during school year. He's really busy, so. And,
for sure.
And also, let me just go on record and publicly apologize to Libby for getting her name in our.
Oh, it was me. I never even thought it would be me.
Not Samantha or Molly. It was Libby. And of course, Johnny jumped right in. Oh yeah, Libby. I mean, it's like boom.
Oh,
right
thanks, Johnny.
Samantha was sure.
And I told Wes. I said, Wes, do not put that in the podcast. And so what does he do? He puts it in the podcast. And
great thing.
I told you not to put that in the podcast. Just watch it. It's really funny. So I said, okay, I guess. So then that's when I told y'all all 3 at the reseller weekend. Taylor.
You're like, there might be something coming out.
Had to pre-warn us.
That's perfect because I love to fly under the radar and I hate to draw attention to myself. So thank you for respecting that, Stuart. I really appreciate that.
You do realize this is going to.
I'm not even joking.
Anyway, Wes was right. I mean, it was funny, and I guess. Well, I mean,
he put you on blast. He put you on blast.
Finders Flippers podcast anyway, so
it's just, I love it.
It's a roll-up play, so
yeah,
unbelievable.
All right, so we have 1 full-time reseller in the mix, 2 part-time resellers. Like, I love that. So, what do you guys like? What are you bringing to the reselling community? Like, what's your drive? Like, what are you bringing? I love that perspective, but I know you guys bring so much more. Besides the laughter, I mean, it's hilarious.
So at this point, when I'm editing, there's going to be crickets chirping.
All right, so as the part-timer, I'll go first because I bring very little to the table. So this will be short. But so this was something that my wife and I just kind of did for fun. It was like a little funsy thing. We have always been YouTube junkies. And like pre-pandemic, we traveled a lot. So we would watch a lot of travel stuff like, oh, you're going to Boston, like Boston in 3 days. And so like for a month, we would just watch Boston videos and then we were going to wherever. So we were always traveling. And then as you know, pandemic, no one's going anywhere. And then I became a plant dad. So then it was all plant videos. So I'm a plant dad for sure. And then like one day, a garage sale video comes into my recommendations for God knows what reason. But I'm like, hell yeah, I'll watch a garage sale video. And then so we're watching it. And I think it was Froggy Flips. I don't know if you guys have heard of Froggy Flips before, but he's in Indianapolis, and Lizzie, my wife, is from Indianapolis. So she was like, we were watching because it was like, I would tease her and be like, do you know what house that is? Do you know what? She's like, no, there's a million houses. So then it was like, we can do this, right? Like, let's do this. Like, let's go to like a garage sale, Goodwill, whatever, and do it. And so we were doing it for fun, and then it kind of took off. And then Lizzie got laid off. The doctor's office that she was working for downsized, and she was doing like marketing stuff. And when you're fringe, you're the first ones to get cut. So I said, you know what? If you really think that you can do this, just let's go all in. Like, I have my job, it's steady, like, we're good, like, do it. And then it just took off, and really, I just ride her coattails now. Like, her knowledge of what she does is.
So is she full time?
Mm-hmm.
So she's full time. Okay, I didn't realize that. I
October will be 2 years of her being full time.
Oh, she and I have got to get together then.
But she's like Rain Man. Like, you just give her a brand, and she just goes through her file and just.
Well, I was going to say that is one of my favorite reasons, aside from your humor, of course, Johnny, that I love watching is I learn brands from her when she's like when you guys pull stuff up, and I'm like, oh, I got to look for that. I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd like thrifting with her a lot more than me. She was holding stuff up, and she's like, have you heard of it? And I'm like, I barely know what Abercrombie is. I don't know why you are asking me.
I know.
I like, obviously, I go to work, but I work hybrid. So it actually works out really well for the business side of things because, like, Monday, I don't go into the office. I'm on meetings and I'm packing orders so we can go to the post office. So it kind of works to just. We were actually laughing Monday. We had 68 orders going out on Monday from this weekend. Nice. And we were just like, what the heck would we do? Like, if I was in the office, like, you would be
right?
doing this. So working hybrid actually allows us to kind of operate at the level we operate at.
That's awesome.
So that's amazing. Like, that's a really cool. You say, like, you have little to contribute. I know you jokingly said that, but like, that's a really good perspective. Is like, you're not the full-time reseller, but you are helping the full-time reseller. You are helping support the business, and I know there's a lot of people that could learn from that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Sounds like your setup is much like mine with my husband.
Yeah, it does.
He worked from home today. He's home off and on, and then he does a lot of my shipping, and it's great.
Yeah, and it just, it works out because I know, like, oh, okay, it's over 2 pounds, but it's going to California. So, like, I know all of that stuff where she knows brands and sell-through rates and the stuff that actually makes money.
When you pick something up and go, oh, let's see if he's going to say yes or no, she's going to say no on this one.
It's so annoying. I don't know if you guys have seen our video, but she'll be like, oh, I always pick up this brand every time. And I'm like, babe, look what I just found. She's like, no, not that one.
You sound like my husband right now. I'll be like, babe, you got to, anytime you see whatever, he'll be like, perfect. And then, same thing. I'm like, oh, not a brown one. He's like, are you kidding me?
That's the wrong size. Those sizes don't sell.
Well, and that's it, right? And it's like, oh, that's a medium.
Like,
Sorry.
But kudos like, for the brand name.
Yeah, or like, that's not substantial. What the hell is substantial? It's right here.
I love it. So I saw your videos in Florida. Is that where you lived before, it sounded like?
Yeah, so I lived in Sarasota for 12 years, and then we at one point were trying to have children, and that ship kind of passed, so we wanted to move closer to family in case that had actually happened.
Gotcha.
And then she fell in love with this area, and I can't go back to Florida now. So
he's stuck
in the borough.
Oh, I'd move there in a heartbeat. That is like my place. I love it more than anything.
I would love to live there in the winter. It was too hot for me. Too hot.
Yeah. Oh, wait. You in the orange. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Just enjoying listening to Johnny's stories. But, and I'll kind of to tag on to what Johnny said and what you said about spouses. Amy's kind of the same way. It's like today she took off work. I mean, she doesn't get to work remote that often, but we're I think I mentioned it, but we're moving from one antique booth location to another. Our mall moved up the street, so we're going to open in the new location on Saturday at the latest. I guess there's a small chance it could be Friday, but yeah, I mean, there's no way I was going to move all this stuff if Amy had not taken off work today. And we actually got everything done today. I mean, I've got to go tie up a few loose ends tomorrow, but we consolidated from 4 booths down to 2 booths. And so we have this huge pile of stuff that's going to go to the auction house and, carried all the other stuff up the street through a combination of loading it in the car and then just pulling wagons up it's like straight uphill to the top of the hill. But yeah, it's, and that's like in our podcast, you were asking kind of what we bring to the table. And I think, with the 3 of us, we all kind of have our own unique perspectives. I mean, as you mentioned, I'm a full-time reseller and have the supportive spouse. And then Johnny's the supportive spouse of a full-time reseller. And then, Wes, I don't think Wes's wife, well, yeah, she goes to yard sales as well with him. And so they're both kind
I don't know that Wes actually resells. I think he just likes to hang out.
He just has a cool toy collection in the back and needed some friends. Yeah.
Well, he's always like, "Oh, what's your best sale of the week?" And Stuart and I'll go, and then he's like, "Well, my wife sold." We're like, "Oh."
And he's like, "Did I tell you about the time I bought some Beanie Babies?" That's
I witnessed that.
Like, Stuart, you do things that are fairly unique in the reselling world. Like your span of, what you do. Like you do live selling on Whatnot. You do ephemera. You do antique booths. You sell on eBay. Like you have the breadth of knowledge you have and the platforms and what you sell is fairly unique. You're a unique individual. And I think you have so much to offer that is different than most of the things we listen to.
Well, I think the fact, that doing the brick and mortar and the online is somewhat unique. I mean, as big as I am into it, I'm going to have basically have 3 locations with booths and the equivalent of about 4 booths now, down from what I had with 6. But, so yeah, I mean, it's, I can talk a little bit about a lot of things, I guess, but, and
yeah, and there's so many things that go into managing that, like, all at once, right? Like deciding what goes where and just, what's going to sell best. I would love to hear a little bit about Whatnot and your live selling adventure if you want to get into it.
Just to be honest, I don't do as much live selling as I did. In fact, we've talked about that on a couple of our shows. Wes hasn't done any, but Johnny and I both dabbled in Whatnot. And just, I know there's still a lot of people who are really successful in Whatnot. But, for me, just with the ephemera category, it seems like from like the peak of when I was doing really well to now, I can run shows now and I don't do near as well. And part of that's because I don't consistently run shows like some people do. But even when I'm part of special events now, where I might have used to have done, $400 to $500 in a special event, it seems like now consistently it's more like $100 to $200. And even like Popeyes, from Popeyes Postcards, we had him on, and he's a huge seller and Whatnot. And I think he said his sales were down about 40%, wasn't it, Johnny?
Yeah.
So revenue and so yeah, I still live sell, but I certainly don't consider myself an expert in that area, and I don't do it near as much as I used to. Still enjoy going on live occasionally. Like I tried to do a show for my antique mall yesterday, and I think part of it's, hopping categories from ephemera to where people are used to seeing me over to like the antiques category. It's just hard to draw an audience when you're jumping into a new category like that. And I never could really get more than 10, and I ended up not selling anything. I was basically just going around my antique mall and, hey, I'll start any of this stuff at 50% off whatever the tag says. And, I had a few like questions about things and, I'll think about it. But in the end, I ended up not selling anything.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, that's a cool perspective. All right. So here's an idea I had that I've been noticing, and I might be wrong. You're going to tell me I'm wrong, and that's cool too. But it seems like the people that are really successful on Whatnot, that is their business model. They go all in. They're not spreading them. Like, they're all in on Whatnot, and that is pretty much their only platform. I haven't seen anybody like really be successful and not go all in.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. I think the people are successful. I know there's a guy called Noah Baller, and I remember when he was first starting out and watched a few of his shows, and I mean, he just started doing shows every day. And I think he's like a storage unit, maybe kind of guy, so he's constantly getting stuff in. But he posts a lot in some of the Facebook groups, and he's real good at giving people encouragement. But he just basically says, "Hey, if you want to be successful, you literally have to be not necessarily going every day, but consistently go on a couple of times a week, same time. Just run shows, run through stuff, and your audience will come." And I mean, my problem with that is that I have so many other outlets to sell stuff. I mean, I just don't want to. What I found when I was like at the height of me doing Whatnot, I was spending so much time getting ready for Whatnot shows that my other lines of business were suffering because if you're cataloging shows, I mean, it takes a long time to do all that, to put 40, 50 items in the catalog. And I mean, and I'm guessing even the ones who do really well, for the most part, I'm guessing their margins per item are probably lower than what they could sell that same item for on eBay. But, when you're doing it every day and blowing through all this stuff, that your cost of goods sold is probably low. It's the whole, fast nickel versus a slow dime thing.
Right.
But, I just, with the booths I have and the 5 other online platforms, I just decided that, it wasn't worth it to spend the time, doing weekly shows. I really only do special events on Whatnot now for the most part. Like, I'll do usually like one ephemera show a month as part of, Ephemerama or Paperpalooza or one of those types of events. So it kind of, I guess, scratches that itch of, I love to do it. So it's fun to go engage with the people, but it's just not for me anyway, not worth the time to invest to do some kind of regular show anymore.
And that perspective is what Finders Flippers has to offer. He has walked the walk. He has made the Whatnot journey. He has adjusted his reselling business, and he has come out with this very cool insight and perspective. Thank you.
Johnny, what kind of things are you doing on Whatnot? You guys, are you strictly closed? I mean, everything I see is really closed.
Yeah, so we, to kind of piggyback off Stuart, we did, we went into, when Whatnot was in its heyday 2 years ago, we rode that to the moon and back, and then eventually it wanes, right? But I was doing a hat show, so I would source hats at the bins, and every Wednesday night would do a hat show, and then Lizzie would do 2 clothing shows a week. So we were doing 3, if not 4 or 5 shows a week. And there was probably a 6-month period 2 years ago that we did more monthly on Whatnot than we were doing on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do, not to dive into numbers, but I would do a hat show of pre-owned hats for 2 hours, and we'd do over $500 in sales.
Nice.
I mean, and we were getting them from the bins, just cleaning them up and selling them. So they were costing us 40 cents a piece.
Right.
We were selling, 150. Like, it wasn't real. It wasn't real.
As Molly says, she picks up the lightweight item and goes, "Well, that's basically free," and she throws it in there.
Exactly.
And then,
exactly it.
And then when we checked out, I'm like, "Wow, your free stuff was kind of expensive." Hey,
all those free things, I guess, eventually add up to something.
Lame. But eventually, like, the $500 shows were $350, and then they were $275, and then they were $200, and then they were $150. And then, like, you're getting ticked off, right? Like, you're mad because, like, I'm not doing anything different. This, like, what is going on? And then you're like, oh, we're doing a hat show tonight. I don't have enough hats. And then it's like just all of a sudden it became a job. Where I get it's a job, but we do it because it's fun and enjoyable. And then it got real, and then we were just like, you know what? Forget it. And then, we made the decision to cross list and go all in on cross list, and use Poshmark, use Depop and Mercari, and we make more money now than we were, at Whatnot in its heyday. And we don't have to plan for shows and get psyched up. And we had done Whatnot for like a year and a half, and we'd still get nervous, like, oh god, a show's coming. And it was like, or it would end, and it's like, I can't go to bed yet. Like, you almost like needed a
You gotta
cigarette
wind
or something.
down.
Like,
Yeah. When you do nighttime shows, it's hard to come down from that. Yeah, it is.
And now it's just, we have Mercari sales. Cool. Like, my heart rate doesn't go up for that.
All right, now your guys are like totally talking me into quitting live selling. I do it once a week. I do it once a week sale.
Hey, if you enjoy it, then keep doing it. I mean, that's the thing. And, and that's why I still like to do, a show a month or so. But, and I'm really not sure. I'm sure there's a lot of factors that go into why it's harder to be successful and whatnot. I mean, I know, there's just more sellers. I've been on Whatnot now for 3+ years, I think. I mean, and you had to really work hard to get accepted. I had to send a video and show that I think they wanted like 6 months worth of inventory or something that you could show you could sustain.
Nobody else had to do that, Stuart. That was just you.
Well, I can remember at the time, and the reason I got into it, it's Dominic, the Primetime Treasure Hunter, had mentioned he had 3 guys who sold on Whatnot. They had like a kind of a panel talking about Whatnot, because it was really new at the time. And and I reached out to him and said, hey, how do you like it? And he said it's really fine. You should apply. So I applied, but at this time, like on this Facebook group that he had started Whatnot for resellers, I mean, everybody's like, man, I got denied again. I got denied. And they were just, it was really hard to get accepted. And so, I submitted all this stuff, and I really had no aspirations that I would get accepted. I mean, I did have, I could show my antique malls, and I could show pictures of my inventory. And so, like within 2 weeks, I got accepted. And, but now, like my brother called me the other day, and he buys a few things on Whatnot. He goes, I got an email yesterday, and Whatnot said if I apply to be a seller, I'm automatically accepted. So, I mean, they know nothing about him.
And then you're like, good Lord, they're letting anybody in.
I mean, and like you watch shows now, and it's not just people who haven't done live selling, but you get the feeling that some of them never sold anything on, a platform, because then you read all these horror stories on the Facebook groups. And I know, reading Facebook groups is a lot like reading reviews. I mean, you see the negative stuff, but still, it's like I bought, these things from this person, and they shipped, this glass vase in a box with no, with nothing but, like saran wrap around it or something. And, and ultimately, I think that makes people scared to buy on Whatnot. And I mean, I had some bad experiences buying some breakables as well and Whatnot. I had like somebody shipped this Peanuts candy dish from the 60s that I was really excited to get, with nothing but air pockets. I mean, when I got the box, I'm like, well, this doesn't sound good. But and then I just think, the newness of Whatnot's worn off. So that probably plays into it. And like I know in the ephemera category, even having, doing it for 3 years, even though there are a lot of new buyers, it's still the same, like the same 30 core buyers you see in all the shows. So, they can only sustain that so long. And, you do add new ones occasionally, but.
Who just sold something?
Yeah.
Oh, that was me. Sorry.
So humble.
It was some board game pieces. It's nothing fancy.
Sorry, Molly.
That's okay, but now I've forgotten what I was going to say.
She lost her train.
No, what I was wondering is, I wonder if it's going to come back around, like, eventually, because I know Poshmark went through that, where it was such a great platform to sell on, and then it's pandemic hit, and then it was like every stay-at-home person, it was an easy way for them to go on and sell the stuff in their closet, and so it really downgraded selling on Poshmark for a long time. Everything it was nothing but lowball offers because People were home using it as a yard sale to get rid of their stuff, and not resellers actually earning a living. So it changed everything, but I've noticed in the last year or so that's all coming back around now, and Poshmark is back to being a good place to sell your higher end clothing items and get better money for it. And I wonder if that same thing might happen with Whatnot over time.
I don't know. Go ahead, John.
One of the things that we noticed with Whatnot from the clothing standpoint, because that was a lot of what we were doing, is it's all pallets now. And it's everybody like wants to buy from a pallet and just see what you have. And there's like this mystery of a pallet. And, even Frizzy and I talked about it, and we're like, we don't have room for pallets. I don't want to get tied into pallets, because you end up kind of getting stuck more than not, unless you really have the connections and things like that. So we couldn't compete with having pre-owned clothes. We couldn't compete with new, because the price was the same, right? Because the Whatnot buyer doesn't want your junk, your crap, right? They want stuff that they can then go and put on eBay. And like to Stuart's point before, or Libby, you might have said it, like you need to be all in on it, because if your head is like, God, I would put this on eBay and this on Whatnot, like you can't play that game. You either put it all up on eBay, or you put it all in on the show, and you disconnect yourself from like, oh, that just sold for $8 and I could have got 80.
Yeah.
Right.
I have talked to several resellers that do Whatnot, and their whole idea is, well, I got it for 50 cents. If I can sell it for $3, great. If they sell it for $6, great. You know what I mean? Like everybody's making a little. I got the quick flip, like Stuart was saying. I got the quick flip, got it in, got it out. More than doubled my money. I don't care. Let them turn around and make their money.
But that's so we had that mindset. But then when sales started to go down, then it was like, well, I'm not doing this for you. I'm not your personal shopper, so you can go. Like I'm. Eventually, we walked away from live selling and said, you know what, we're going to take this slow dime. But what we did was we built up an inventory where we went from like 1,100 listings to we're now like 1,800 listings. And, something that might take 6 months, we're not like waiting for it to sell.
Right.
We have everything else selling. And then when that 6 month comes along for that item, well, cool, add it, because everything's on its own thing. And that's ultimately why we kind of chose to walk away from that fast dime part.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, I think it's hard, as we've talked about, with the amount of time it takes to get ready for Whatnot shows versus listing on other platforms. If you want to go all in on Whatnot, that's great. But the scary thing is, going all in on anything, if that market does dry up, and we've talked to some big sellers who've said, we're doing a lot less than we used to. That's why I think it's important to diversify. So it's just easier to diversify across these, normal online marketplaces and my antique booths than to spend any substantial time on Whatnot as part of that whole diversification thing. So.
Yeah, because any one thing can go away at any time. Like, we don't own it, That's just the reality of it.
But it always kills me, like, on, once again, going back to the Facebook groups, but you'll always see the comments like, I've discovered I can sell so much on Facebook Marketplace. I'm just taking all my listings off eBay and I'm putting everything on Facebook Marketplace or everything on Mercari or whatever, but if you're taking, that's like a moving target, well, then next week you're probably going to be saying, I'm taking everything off Facebook Marketplace and putting it over here on Etsy. And, and that's the beauty of this. Johnny mentioned, he cross-post, and, all of us cross-post. And I think that's the
I use the other one.
Yeah. And Johnny definitely, he's the one we use, but
can I block that?
Against him, so.
Hey.
I'm trying to get a sponsorship.
Our Patreon has a very diverse group of people that use that.
Yeah, we have a lot of community members that use that as well. So
yes,
I like them.
And they're not watching us, so you don't really have to worry about it. Okay,
right?
Samantha, was that another sale?
No, they just paid for it. It was.
You're a.
Libby's had a couple though, because they're popping up here. Ooh, Lord.
I have my notifications off so I could concentrate on Stuart.
I should have my phone off my desk. I moved it over and it's still, I forget I use this thing now. But no, my sales have picked up this week though on eBay. So let's keep those cha-chings a coming. Like, it's worked out really good. So hopefully we're on the upswing. It's almost Q4.
So switching gears just a little bit, have the three of you recovered from our fun weekend we had?
Well, I just got back.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. She went to Greensboro.
I went to spend 2 days with Molly afterwards, and that turned into an entire week.
And then we weren't supposed to tell Johnny because you didn't get to meet him.
Yeah. Wait, hold on 1 second. You may continue.
So I just got home on Sunday night. We're recording on Tuesday. And I feel like today I'm just kind of getting in the swing of things. So I'm still recovering, really.
Oh, yeah. It took me like 2 days. I was like, good. I went to Pittsburgh after that and helped my son move into his into his new apartment, and did that for 2 days, and then came home and I was like full of energy. It was like so nice. And I opened the door to my house. Like, I got home after this whole adventure. I opened the door to my house and I literally almost just passed out from exhaustion. Like, I was good, and the second that door opened, I was just like, I can't move.
It was funny. She's like, guys, I'm kind of exhausted. And we're like, no, really? Go to bed. Like, go relax.
And I felt really bad, Samantha, because you left early Saturday morning and I was all gung-ho to work, and I may have taken not one but 3 naps on Saturday because you broke me.
I did.
Sorting in Charlotte on Friday. Holy moly.
Yeah, like Molly and I decided we can't hang with the youngins anymore. Samantha is just too young, man. How did you survive, Stuart? How did you and Amy do?
Oh, we were fine. It was such an awesome weekend. I knew everybody there on at least some level, I guess, but it was great to spend, a weekend that wasn't. The meetings and stuff we've gone to in the past are great, but it was fun to just go to pretty much just a social event.
Yeah.
I know we talked some reselling but yeah, like getting to know Joe and Nicole better. And yeah, a little plug for our show. They'll be on our show tomorrow. I think's when the episode's going to drop. So
Awesome.
We interviewed them last night, so I'd flip that. It's on Thunder Slippers podcast. The episode should drop tomorrow, which will be August 28th. I never know. It's so weird when we talk about this all the time. You're trying to figure out timing wise. You mentioned something that's already happened or not happened yet.
And I don't know. Doubly complex because you don't know when this episode is airing, right?
Yeah.
This one will come out in a week or two. Yeah.
What we're saying basically is just check in the show notes below, because Libby will link up that episode.
I will link it all.
And I'd put that in
my
the
favorite
comments.
people together. Are you kidding me? This is awesome.
And one of our favorite guests, we love all the guests we've had on, but Joe and Nicole, their energy levels just like off the charts.
Right.
They were just really fun to have on. So.
Wait. We were the favorite guests before, and now we've been replaced.
I'm sorry, I
gotta
know.
Joe and Nicole any day. Yeah.
Yes,
everybody's having their little temper tantrums today, huh? Stuart forgot my name, and I didn't throw a fit.
Listen, if you forget your name after spending the weekend with you in Gatlinburg, then there's really going to be a problem.
Yeah, he's not allowed to anymore.
I will never forget any of the three of your names again after the weekend we had.
That's what I was saying. If you forgot my name and y'all spent a weekend at my house, boy, you going down.
So I'm very fortunate that I only had to remember Samantha's name because Libby, my niece, is Libby.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so her name's Elizabeth, but we call her Libby. So Libby. And then Molly, my mom's dog's name is Molly.
Everybody.
It's got to be a dog. It's always a dog named Molly.
My Nana was Molly. She was a person.
I can't tell
Libby and Molly is like family to me. And I just had to remember Samantha.
And I'm unforgettable, so it's
That's
So
it.
when I show up and just snuggle in on your couch, it's okay because I'm just Molly.
Well, if I say Molly, knock it off. Just know it's just force a habit.
So my friend Maggie from Art Thrift, she said to me one day because she met Maggie Weber, and she was like, "Oh, finally somebody who gets it. Our name, it's all dog names." I go, "Maggie, I get it. You know how many people I know with dogs named Molly?" I knew you were going to say it as soon as you started. I'm like, "There's a dog named Molly. It's not a niece. It's not it's a dog.
Yeah,
a dog named Molly.
Yeah."
No, we love having y'all on. It's probably recency bias on my part. It's like they're the last guest we had, but Joe and Nicole are. I mean, their energy level is just so high.
Yeah,
they
are.
Oh yeah.
I mean, those game we were talking about after they got off. The game shows episodes they did. I mean, the amount of work that took to get ready for those.
I mean, you just watch that, and we'd all be just like, how? My whole family we'd all be on our phones on the couch. We'd put it up on the TV and we'd be playing all together. Like, it's so fun.
Yeah. They're the best. They're one of my absolute faves too. Yeah, for sure. Yep. So, I forgot my question.
I don't know, but basically what we're saying is we're all ready to go on vacation again, right? Like, it was a long time ago. We should probably take another one soon. Okay.
How about next September, right?
How about next September?
Right.
Yeah, perfect. How about September 3rd? All right, let's do that.
And who knows? Maybe Johnny and Wes will come.
Yes.
Unless basketball has been shut down, I feel like Wes will not be available.
I'm figuring Wes will probably not be able to come this time of year, but hey, maybe we can get Johnny and Frizzy there. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm
thinking.
Johnny and Frizzy will come.
Yes. And we didn't really get to adequately vet Wes, so it works out. It's fine.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It hasn't been vetted yet. Yeah.
It's fine.
There's
So I want to ask one of our standard questions from before. Go ahead, Johnny.
We still have a lot of questions about him too, and we're 30 episodes into a podcast, so I get it.
I love it.
I want to know what you guys are most proud of about Finders, Flippers, and this adventure you are taking together.
Oh man!
Just the
I didn't
fact
know I was going to cry on this episode.
We actually had our birthday. A couple of days ago? Our 1 year anniversary, birthday, and whatever you want to say. And although, I mean, I would say when we hit our anniversary, when we rebooted the podcast, that's probably more key, just because I definitely think we came back taking it more seriously, and we all really enjoy it. But what I'm most proud of, I think, is just the fact that I've made 2 new friends in Johnny and Wes because I didn't know either one of them prior to starting the podcast. And, maybe one day I'll actually meet Johnny in person.
Maybe.
You only ever see me in this box. I don't...
You need a tissue. Johnny's crying over there.
So, did you know that most episodes, I forget what the statistics is, but it's something like 90%. It's a really high number. 90% of all podcasts do not make it past the first 20 episodes. Wow. You guys are over the hump. Yeah.
The big 3-0. So.
Yeah.
Well, I think the cool thing now is it's embedded in our lives a little bit, right? Like we know, we flex on the dates a little bit, Tuesday or Wednesday, but for all intents and purposes, like we know Wednesday night we have our podcast, and it's just, it's there. And, I think as we've been able to grow to know each other better, it's a much more just natural conversation than like topic's over. What are we talking about now?
Right.
Where, it just kind of free flows a little bit better. That it's been an enjoyable thing to do. And, sometimes we're chatty and it's an hour and a half long, and, sometimes we're not and it's 45 minutes, but, it's become our own thing and we've run with it. And, the community it's opened us up to. I know you guys have known Stuart already, but like every guest that we've had, I know for me is somebody new just out there in this community that I never knew. And it's pretty cool. It's cool that we can all do this in our different parts of the country and sell different things and do all these different things and have all these different lives.
The street.
Yeah. Sometimes your neighbors.
So close. Oh my god.
But it's just cool how it all I don't know, just how it all comes together.
Yeah. And it won't be long. It'll be taking over your life. Now it's a part of your life, and then it starts to take over, and it creeps into the edges, and then you're vacationing with your, podcasting friends. Yeah.
And then you can't live without them, and you cry when they leave.
Yeah.
Pretty soon your spouse is like, if we're coming home, where are you?
So funny.
Yes.
Well, y'all, do y'all have cups around? Because, we do toast at the end.
That was like real Southern, though. Y'all got some cups around.
Y'all have cups around because I'm going to toast with my Buc-ee's water bottle that I got.
Tell you what, you better get your cup.
Now, I just know we're going to have you guys on again because we've got to have Wes on this side of the screen with us too. So we will definitely.
Stuart, what if we just send them Wes?
Whoa,
What's that?
we didn't.
We just send them Wes, so it all evens out. So we've all been on. You guys, you just get Wes.
So what are you saying, Johnny?
I just wanted it to be even for Wes. I just wanted to see how he could handle it.
Oh, we might eat him
I don't.
We'll be back.
I don't.
We'll be back, or we'll fall into that 90 percentile real quick. We'll be back.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us. We can't wait to do it again. And Johnny, we will get together soon.
Yeah. Just come on over. I mean, there's really no excuse.
Well, I don't know your address, so there's that. I mean, I could just walk around with a clipboard knocking on doors.
I mean, there's like 11 houses in this cul-de-sac right here, so you got like a 9% chance.
Well, I am so proud of you guys and like what you are building and the joy and the knowledge you are bringing to this community and the perspective. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
And
Yeah,
on that,
y'all are a big reason. One of the reasons we changed the name. You're also the reason we started adding our pictures to our thumbnails.
Put your face
before we
on
just had
it.
these boring thumbnails with the Founders Flippers logo, and
It took me a lot less time, so thank you.
gotta put
Like spending the extra time on these thumbnails.
Samantha, I was waiting for your commercial to come after that. Usually you jump in with a commercial when somebody gives us kudos for something.
I was just gonna say that if anybody's wondering, we do have a Patreon where you can join and get this wonderful branding information that we gave to Stuart for free because he's one of our friends. But everybody else can go on to Patreon and find Consignment Chats.
On that note, y'all, until next time, get your cups. Come on. Cheers.
Thank you for joining Libby, Molly, and Samantha, the ladies of Consignment Chats, as we build a resourceful community of collaborative resellers. This podcast is sponsored by ListPerfectly. To join our free private communities on Facebook and Patreon, and for all things Consignment Chats, visit us at consignmentchats.com.